miles long, dissecting a region, getting from point A to point B can be a difficult task. That's why people around here have long understood that there is an easier way. If you're going to travel 30 miles as the crow flies, travel as the crow flies by signing on with one of the flying companies that services the region. The Great North Woods stretch on for miles in northwest Maine. It's hard to visualize just how vast this wilderness is from the land. But from the air, things come into perspective a bit. This place is big. Aerial charter services are reaching new heights in the area. Flying rental companies are nothing new. For years, they've brought hunters and fishermen to spots that would otherwise be impossible to reach.
We've got the fishermen that show up down here, maybe 2 of them going in. They have 1,100 pounds of gear, most of which is beer.
We've had fishermen that we've flown into remote lakes and dropped them off for a couple days and picked them up a couple days later, and on occasion they get stuck because of the weather, and they're real happy to see us.
You're departing, Roger. Have a good flight.
Thank you.
Roger Courier started flying the Maine North Woods for a living in the early 80s. He bought what planes he could, 6 vintage crafts that remain his antique flying fleet to this day.
Back when I started buying airplanes to use in the business, I couldn't afford the new fancy ones, so I bought the old ones and fixed them up. And at this point, we found that those, for a lot of people, are more attractive. We're running old vintage airplanes, which people seem to like.
More and more, people like to climb aboard Courier's planes just for fun. Like the rest of the Moosehead Lake region, this business is seeing a new type of tourist in town.
There used to be more hunters and fishermen, and now it's more scenic tours. You know, family vacations that come up, and part of their itinerary is to take a flight around the local area to see the sights.
When you take them out and show them the countryside, and they spot some moose walking through these ponds and the large racks, and they spend a little time flying around. They are just ecstatic when they get back on the docks. They're pretty happy.
It's not hard to see why. With a bird's eye view, the beauty of this region is impossible to miss.
Flying up here in this environment is just fantastic because we're usually flying about 500 foot off the water in the land, and so you're right down there with the environment, watching the trees go by. Sometimes we see eagles, sometimes we see moose and bear and so forth, and it's just a very exciting place to fly up here in Moosehead Lake.
Well, the beauty of it is all the water, and when you get airborne and look around in this country, the wilderness and the mountains and the water. There's water everywhere, and the mountains are fabulous.
It's pretty much pristine land. It's great scenery. We've got a lot of mountains around here, a lot of undeveloped lakes, and this seems to be what people want to look at.
Floatplanes are a great way to see some of the remote spots of Maine's North Woods, but more importantly, they are a great way to get to some of those remote spots. If you love to fish, you've got to go to where the fish are. Places like Enchanted Pond, which is where we are now at Bulldog Camps. When we return, we'll try to catch some of those fish as Front Row takes you deeper into the North Woods of Maine.